Hello and welcome to this crochet tutorial for the Ocean Shell Summertop. I'm so excited that you're here and I'm happy to show you how to crochet this top, and I wish you lots of fun crocheting. So for this project I'm going to be using this 100% cotton yarn, which is from Hobbii. It's called Frutta and it's this super beautiful gradient color. It's 100 grams, which equals to 210 meters, and it's recommending a 5mm hook, which I will be using for my piece. So I got my 5mm hook right here, a darning needle to weave in our ends. We're also going to use some stitch markers and some scissors to cut our yarn. Okay, so before we start, I just wanted to show you real quick the design that I have planned. So we're going to start off by making this tube top part around the bust, and afterwards we're going to add a waistband to make it a little bit more fitted around the waist, and then we're going to add the straps and some ruffles to the straps. And I was thinking maybe we can add some ruffles at the bottom, but yeah, I'm going to see how it goes. So for our foundation chain, we're going to chain a multiple of 8 plus 2, and we're going to make the chain as long as our bust measurement, which is the widest part of our bust. So we're going to start off by making a slip knot, and then we're going to start chaining, and you're going to chain any multiple of 8 until you reach your bust measurement. Okay, so I now have my chain, and what you're going to do with your chain is you're going to wrap it around the widest part of your bust and make sure that you pull it very tightly, because the piece that I'm making is going to be very fitting and crochet stretches over time. So make sure you pull this very tight and make sure it fits the way you want it to fit on your bust, and also make sure that you have any multiple of 8 chains. Okay, so now that you have your foundation chain with any multiple of 8, you're gonna go ahead and chain the extra 2 for the 8 plus 2. And just for the record, my chain is 96 chains long plus 2, so my chain is 98 chains. For the first row, we're gonna make single crochets into all of the chains until the end of the row. And how we're gonna do that is we're not gonna work into these chains right here. We are gonna work into the back loop of the chain. So the back loop is this loop right here. I'm gonna show you. It's this loop right here, and these are the ones that we're gonna work into. So we are gonna skip the first chain and we're gonna work into the back loop of the second chain. So it's gonna be this chain, but you're gonna turn it around. Okay, so you see here the first back loop and then the second one, and this is the one that we're gonna go into. So you're gonna go into this back loop, pull up a loop, and then pull a loop through. Make our first single crochet, and then we're gonna go into the next one, pull up a loop, and pull through both loops of the chain, make our next single crochet. I'm gonna go into this back loop, pull up a loop, and pull the loop through both. And this is what we're gonna repeat throughout the whole chain, and I'm gonna meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm now at the end of the first row. I have 1 stitch left. We're gonna make our last single crochet, then we're gonna chain 1 and turn our work. And for the second row, we are also going to place 1 single crochet into each stitch. So we are going to skip this first chain, the chain 1 we just did, and go into the first stitch of the row. Gonna pull up a loop and pull through 2. Make our first single crochet, and we go into the next stitch. We're gonna pull up a loop and pull through 2. And this is what we're gonna repeat for the entire row. And I'm gonna meet you back again at the end of this row. Okay, so I'm now at the end of row 2, and we're gonna place our last single crochets, and then we're gonna chain 1 and turn our work. And then into the first stitch, we are gonna make a single crochet, and then we're gonna skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch we're gonna make 7 triple crochets. So for a triple crochet, you yarn over twice, and into the 4th stitch, gonna pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then pull through 2 again. So this is our first triple crochet, and we're gonna place 7 of these into the same stitch. Gonna yarn over twice, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. Yarn over twice, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. Now we have our 7 triple crochets. Then we're gonna skip 1, 2, 3 stitches again, and into the 4th stitch we're gonna make a single crochet. And then we're gonna skip 3 stitches again, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch we're gonna again make 7 triple crochets. So you're gonna yarn over twice and go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. Yarn over twice, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2 again. Yarn over twice, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. I'm gonna repeat this until we have 7 triple crochets into the stitch again. Okay, so now we have 7 triple crochets again, and Then we're gonna skip 1, 2, 3 chains, and into the 4th chain we're gonna make another single crochet. And this is basically the whole pattern for this row. So you're gonna skip 3 chains, make 7 triple crochets into the 4th chain, and when you've done that, then you're gonna skip 3 chains again, and into the 4th chain you're gonna put a single crochet, and so on and so forth. So now again we're gonna put 7 triple crochets into the 4th stitch, and this is basically the pattern for this row, and you're gonna repeat this until the end of the row, and I'm gonna see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm now at the end of the row. I have 1 more shell left and 1 single crochet. So in the 4th stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna place again 7 triple crochets, and then in the last chain, in the last stitch of the row, so we're going to skip again 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch, which is the last stitch of the row, we're going to place a single crochet. So this is how you end your row, with a single crochet. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And then for the next row, we are gonna make slip stitches into each stitch of the row until the end of the row. So what you're gonna do is, we are gonna go into the 1st stitch of the row. We're gonna skip the chain 1 we just did. We're gonna go into the 1st stitch of the row, pull up a loop, and we're gonna pull that loop right through the loop on our hook. That's a slip stitch. Then we go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull it right through the loop on our hook. Go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull it right through. And this is what we're gonna do for the entire row. Just make sure that you don't make them too tight. And place 1 slip stitch into each stitch. And once you are at the end of the row, I'm going to show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm now at the end of my row. I have 2 slip stitches left. 1 and 2, the last one. Okay, so now that I have finished my slip stitch row, we are gonna chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna turn our work. And now we're gonna make 3 triple crochets into the 1st stitch. And as you can see, the slip stitches that we did they are a little bit hard to see, so that's why I'm showing you. We're not gonna work into this stitch. This is not the slip stitch that we did. The slip stitch that we did is this one right here. So this row of stitches is our slip stitch row. And these are the stitches that we're gonna work into for this row. So we are gonna yarn over twice, and then we're gonna go into this first stitch. We're gonna pull up a loop, pull through two, pull through two, and pull through two again. And again, yarn over twice, go into the same stitch, pull up a loop, pull through two, pull through two, pull through two again. And then for the last one, we're gonna go into the same stitch, pull up a loop, pull through two, and pull through two again. And now we basically have 4 triple crochets. So the first chain 4 that we did counts as a triple crochet. So now we have 4 triple crochets in the first stitch. And then we are gonna skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch right here we are gonna place a single crochet. So you go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through both, and then we are gonna skip 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch right here we are gonna add 7 triple crochets. So again, yarn over twice, go into the 4th stitch, pull up a loop, pull through two, pull through two, pull through two again. I'm gonna place 7 of these triple crochets into the same stitch to make an entire shell. So now that we have our 7 triple crochets completed, we are gonna skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, and into the 4th stitch we are gonna make a single crochet like so. And then we are gonna skip 1, 2, 3 stitches again, and into the 4th stitch we are gonna add 7 triple crochets. I'm gonna go in here and add 7 triple crochets. So after you place the 7 triple crochets, you are gonna go ahead and skip 1, 2, 3 chains again, and into the 4th stitch you're going to place another single crochet. And I just wanted to show you a tip real quick, because the slip stitches that we did right here, the ones that we're working into, are really hard to see, and sometimes you can misconfuse them with these stitches up here. So what you can do is you can just take this stitch, so we can just count our 1, 2, 3 stitches, and into the 4th stitch, this is where we're going to place the single crochet. So you basically take this stitch down here and just move it out the way so that you know which stitch you're going to go into, so that you make sure that you're not going into the wrong stitch. So you're going to go into this stitch right here and make your single crochet. And also another sign that you can tell if you worked into the right or wrong stitch is this wave right here basically has to be solid. So you cannot work in any of these stitches right here. This would be the wrong stitch. So you always basically have to work into the back side kind of. And you can just tell by visually seeing, you can look at it and see if you have this solid wave going, then you did it right. And now we are gonna again skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, and into the 4th stitch, this is where we're gonna work another 7 triple crochets. So you can again just count 1, 2, 3, and then make some room for the stitch that you're going into, and place your triple crochets into the 4th stitch. And so this pattern repeats itself just like in the previous row. You basically put into this stitch 7 triple crochets, then you're gonna skip 3 stitches, and into the 4th stitch you're gonna make a single crochet, then skip 3 stitches, and into the 4th you make 7 triple crochets, and so on and so forth. So this is basically the same pattern as in the previous row, except that in the beginning and in the end of the row there is a slight difference. And yeah, so just go ahead and keep adding your shells and single crochets, and I'm gonna see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I now did my last full shell, and I have 1 more single crochet left, which I'm gonna place into the 4th stitch. And then I have 4 more stitches left, and into the last stitch, which is the 4th stitch, I am gonna place 4 triple crochets. So again, I'm gonna make sure that I go into the right stitch. It's this one right here. And into this same stitch, we're just gonna place 4 triple crochets in total. Three and 4. And so now this is the finished row, and as you can see at the end we have 4 triple crochets in the last stitch, and at the very beginning of this row we do have a chain 4, which counts as a triple crochet, plus 3 triple crochets, so we basically have 4 triple crochets in the first stitch of the row. And as you can see, this is the beginning of the row and this is the end of the row, and they basically mirror each other. So you want to make sure you have 4 triple crochets and 4 triple crochets. But also be aware that the first triple crochet here is the chain 4 that we did in the beginning. So now that we are at the end of the row, we're gonna chain 1 and turn our work. And now for this entire row we are gonna make slip stitches again into each stitch. So we're gonna go into the first stitch, make slip stitch, gonna go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and you pull that loop right through the loop on your hook. You go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and pull it right through the loop on your hook. And you are gonna repeat the same stitch into each stitch. So you're gonna make a slip stitch into every single stitch of the row. And I'm gonna meet you back when you're at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm now at the end of my slip stitch row, and I have 2 stitches left. I have this one left, and make a slip stitch, and then for our last stitch, this is this stitch right here. So it's gonna be a little bit hard when you're at the end of this row that you see the last stitch, because the last stitch is basically the top chain of the chain 4 that we did in the beginning of the previous row. So, but what you can do to see this right is you just turn around your work a little bit, and you will now see that we have 1 chain, 2 chains, 3 chains, and 4 chains. And this 4th chain is exactly where we're gonna go into. So what can help you to get into this chain, because it can be a little bit tricky since it is like a loose chain, you can just like pull this back loop right here. You can just take this and pull it out a little bit so it gives you space to go into the chain. And then you're gonna go into this chain. Right here. And this is where you're gonna make your last slip stitch, as you can see. So we have now finished our slip stitch row, and as you can see, this is basically the pattern that we're gonna do for the whole tube top. So you're gonna have these beautiful shells, and then you're gonna have these waves, and this is gonna be the whole pattern for the tube top. So what the rows that you're gonna repeat are row 3, which was the first shell row that we did. So that was a single crochet into the first stitch, and then 7 triple crochets into the 4th stitch. Remember, we skipped 3 chains and placed the 7 triple crochets into the 4th stitch. Then we skipped 3 chains again and put a single crochet. We skipped 3 stitches again, put 7 triple crochets, and so on and so forth. Then we did a slip stitch row, and then we started the row, we did another shell row, and we started the row with the chain 4 and 3 triple crochets, which counts as 4 triple crochets. And then we again alternated between single crochet, 7 triple crochets, and so on and so forth, which is basically the same as in the first row. It's just that the beginning and the end of the row are a little bit different, since it's 4 triple crochets in the last stitch. So you basically repeat row 3, which is the first shell row, then row 4, which is a slip stitch row, then row 5, which is the shell row, where we have the chain 4 plus 3 triple crochets, which counts as 4 triple crochets in the beginning, in the first stitch, and also 4 triple crochets in the last stitch. Remember, they should be mirroring each other. And we're gonna make row 6, which is another slip stitch row. So this is what you're gonna be alternating until you reach the desired height of your tube top. Okay, but just to show you how to go along is at the end of your slip stitch row, you're gonna chain 1 and turn your work. And then you're gonna go into the first stitch of the row, which was the last slip stitch that we did. And in this very first stitch, you're gonna place a single crochet. And then you're gonna skip 3 stitches, and into the 4th stitch you are gonna put 7 triple crochets, just like we did in the very first shell row that we did. I'm gonna place 7 triple crochets. And yeah, this is basically the whole pattern for the tube top part, and you're gonna repeat these rows until you have the desired length of your tube top, and make sure that you finish with a slip stitch row. So yeah, I wish you a lot of fun crocheting this part, and I'm gonna see you when you're done. Okay, I have here my finished piece, and you want to put this like right under your bust, because we are going to add a waistband later, so you just want to put this under your bust for right now. And just wrap it around and make sure you pull it as far as you have to, so that you can see where it closes. So make sure you hold this tight where it would close, so that you know what it actually will look like once we have sewn this together. So you just put this right here under your bust, and when you have reached your desired height, then we're gonna sew it together. Okay, so I have now finished my tube top piece, and as you can see, I have finished the last row off with a slip stitch row. The slip stitches are here in the back, but it just makes it look more defined on the edge. And just so you know, my tube top is in total about 15 centimeters in height. Okay, so as I just showed you, I ended the piece with the slip stitch row. I still have 2 slip stitches to make, so 1 and 2. And now that you have ended with a slip stitch row, you should also see this side of your top. So this is the wrong side and this is the right side, and we are going to work on the wrong side to sew our piece together. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew it together like this, and you want to hold your piece while you're sewing it together. You want to hold it like this so that you can see how you're sewing it together. And the first thing that we are going to do after we have just made our last slip stitch in the row, we are going to take the other side and go into this very first chain, which is the first slip stitch of this row that we just did. So we're going to go into this first stitch and pull up a loop and pull it right through. Okay, so after we have joined our 2 stitches here in the last row that we did, I'm gonna show you the next 2 parts that we're gonna sew together. So we have a gap right here, and we have a gap right here, and on the other side we have a gap right here, and we have a gap right here. And these 2 gaps on both sides, we are gonna sew them together. So you are gonna go into this gap and go into the other gap on the other side, and you're gonna pull up a loop and pull it right through. And also we are sewing this together with slip stitches, so just make sure that you have them a little bit more loose. And then we are gonna go into this next gap right here, and into the next gap here, and then we are gonna pull up a loop and pull it right through. And now, as you can see, we are at the shell part. We have half the shell here and half the shell on the other side. So, and as you can see also on this side, there are the 4 chains. This is the chain 4 that we did. And on this side, it's the regular triple crochet that we did. So we want to make sure that we sew this together like this, And how we're gonna do that is we are gonna go into the top chain of this chain 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the chain that we're gonna go into. So go into this chain, and on the other side you can see when you hold it vertically like this, you have 2 loops. They should stand out a little bit, and into this very first loop right here, this is where we're gonna go into. So you are gonna go into this loop right here. You're gonna pull up a loop and pull right through both. And now we are gonna go into the second top chain of this chain 4. If you can't get in that well, you can just pull this little back loop of the chain, go into the chain, and then you're gonna go into this second loop right here. So you are gonna go right into this loop. Pull up a loop and pull it through. And now the place where we're going to put our next stitch is right here. So this is not specifically going into any chain. This is just going into this gap right here. And on the other side, you see these 2 strands, they do kind of look like a chain. So this is what we're going to work into. These 2 strands, and we're gonna pull right through. Okay, and now for the last stitch for the shell, we are gonna go into this stitch where all the triple crochets meet. So I'm just gonna call this the root of the shell. I'm gonna go into the root of the shell, and on the other side as well, we're gonna go in the root of the shell and pull up a loop and go right through. And now we have sewn our shell together, and now all the stitches we just did are basically repeating itself, because as you can see, now the next biggest gap is this gap here and the second gap here. And on the other side as well, we have the gap here and the gap here. So we're going to go into this gap and go into the gap on the other side and pull right through. Then we are going to go into the next gap and into this gap and pull our yarn right through. And now we are back at this chain 4 on this side and the regular triple crochet on the other side. And we are again going to go into this top chain of the chain 4. So you can just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into the top chain. And on this side, you should see again these 2 loops that are standing out. And we're going to go into this very first loop right here and slip stitch. And then we're going to go into the second top chain. Again, you can pull the back loop a little bit so you are able to get into this chain a little bit easier. And we're going to go into this second loop on the other side. Like so. And now now, again, we are not going to go into any specific chain. We're just going to go into this gap right here that's presenting itself. We're just going to go right here. And on the other side, you have these two strands that look a little bit like a chain. So that's what we're going to take and go right through and pull through to make a slip stitch. And now we are going to sew in here in the root of the shell. We're going to go in here, and also on the other side we're going to go into the root of the shell and pull our yarn right through. Okay, and as you can see, there's a pattern in how to stitch this together, and in total it's 6 stitches. The first one is the first gap on both sides. The second one is the second gap on both sides. The third one is into the top chain of the chain 4 on this side, and into the first of these 2 loops on the other side. The next stitch is into the chain 2, the top 2 chain of our chain 4. And on the other side, it's in the second loop. And then we go into this chain gap right here and into the chain looking stitch over here. And the last 6th stitch is the shell root on both sides. And this is just repeating all the way down. And I'm just gonna take you with me until I'm finished with sewing my piece together, so you can just see it a couple times how the pattern works. So first, we're gonna go into this first gap on both sides. Then into the second gap on both sides. Then we go into the top chain of our chain 4 and into the loop on the other side, the first loop. Then we go into our second chain and second loop. And then we will go into this chain gap right here and these 2 strands right here. And then into the root of the shell on both sides. Then again, the first gap. Then second gap. Then into the first chain and the first loop. And into the second chain and second loop. And then into this chain gap and the 2 strands. And then into the root of the shells on both sides. And now we have this gap and this gap, the first gap. And now we are at the end of our part, and this is our 2 single crochet rows that we did. And what we're gonna do, you should see that there are 2 gaps right here and right here, and on the other side as well there's 2 gaps, this one and this one. And these are the 2 gaps that we're gonna connect. So we're gonna go into this very first gap right here and into this very first gap and connect them. And then we're gonna go into this second gap and into this second gap and connect them as well. And now we are at the bottom. And what we want to do at the bottom is you want to make sure that your working strand is underneath this tail strand. So your tail strand should be above and just facing outward like this. And on this side, you are gonna go into this very first chain that you see. So this is the chain, so you can see. That's what we're gonna go into. And we will also go into this chain right here. We're basically gonna connect the round right here. And like I said, make sure your tail of your beginning is facing upward. And then just yarn over and pull through and make a slip stitch. And now we have joined in the round. Okay, so now we have successfully sewn our part together, and as you can see, it should look something like this on the wrong side. So this is going to be the side inside of our tube top, and when you turn it around to the right side, the seam outside should look something like this. So since I have used a yarn that has different colors, you can actually see where I have sewn it together on some parts, but as you can see, our shells are well connected and pretty fluently. And yeah, you can go ahead and try this on and see how it looks. Okay, so for the waistband, we are gonna start off by making a single crochet decrease row. I'm gonna place a single crochet decrease into every 9th stitch, and in every other stitch there's gonna just be single crochets. And how many decreases you make depends on the size difference of your bust and your waist. So if your waist is way smaller than your bust, you want to make more decreases. So you're gonna want to make a decrease every 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th stitch, for example. And if your waist and your bust are very similar to each other and there's not a big difference, then you want to make less decreases. So you want to make a decrease, let's say every 8th, 9th, or 10th stitch. So it all depends on the size difference of your bust and your waist. And I'm gonna make a decrease into every 9th stitch. So what we're gonna do first, we are gonna chain 1 and go into this first stitch right here, pull up a loop, pull through 2. We have our first single crochet, and we are gonna repeat this until we reach the stitch where we're gonna make the decrease. So for me, this is gonna be 8 regular single crochets, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And now I'm at my 9th stitch where I'm gonna place my single crochet decrease. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and I am not gonna finish the single crochet. I would finish it like this, but we are not gonna finish it. We are gonna go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and now we are gonna pull the loop through all 3 loops on our hook. And now this is my first single crochet decrease. And I'm gonna now place a single crochet into the next 8 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I'm back at my decrease where I'm gonna go into the stitch. I'm gonna pull up a loop. I'm not gonna finish my single crochet. I'm gonna go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 loops on my hook. And now we have our second single crochet decrease. I'm gonna show you one more time. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on the 9th stitch I'm gonna make a single crochet decrease. So I'm gonna go into the stitch, pull up a loop. I'm not gonna finish my single crochet. I'm gonna go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, then pull through all 3. And now I have my single crochet decrease here. And I'm gonna repeat this pattern of 8 regular single crochets and then a single crochet decrease into the 9th stitch until the end of the row. And you're gonna do the same with your decreases until you reach the end of the row, and that's where I'm gonna meet you back. So I just made a single crochet decrease and I'm almost at the end of my row. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches left, and I'm gonna place a single crochet into this stitch, and also this stitch. And for the last stitch I'm gonna make a single crochet decrease, so I'm gonna need 1, 2 stitches, and I'm gonna go into this stitch, pull up a loop, not finish my single crochet, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 loops on my hook and make a single crochet decrease. You can decide if you want to make a single crochet decrease at the end of your row or not. That's totally up to you, depending how many stitches you have already made and where your last single crochet decrease is. But like I said, it's totally up to you. I now made the last stitch of the row, which in my case is a single crochet decrease, and now I'm gonna join in the round, and I'm gonna make an invisible join. And how I'm gonna do that is, first you're gonna pull the loop on your hook a little bit up, then place your yarn behind your work, and we are gonna go into the second stitch right here. So this is our first stitch, this one, and we are gonna go into the second one, and we are not gonna go in from the front, we're gonna go in from the back like this. And then we're gonna turn our work, grab this loop and then pull it right through. Then we're going to turn our work back around. We're going to pull this a little bit tight and we're going to chain 1. And then into this same stitch, we are going to place a single crochet. And now this is our first stitch of the row. And into this very first stitch, you are going to place a stitch marker. And then we are going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch for the entire row. And then I'm going to meet you back once you're at the end of your row. Okay, so I made it back around and I have 2 stitches left. And as you can see, the last stitch is actually this loop that we did earlier. So we're going to place our last 2 single crochets. And for this last stitch right here, you want to make sure you go into the loop and into this strand in the back. And I'm going to place our last single crochet. And now we are going to repeat the same thing that we did earlier. So we're going to pull this loop up a little bit, place our yarn behind our work. And now we have marked our first chain and we're going to go into the second chain. So we're going to go in here from the back. Then we are going to turn our work, grab our loop, and then pull it right through. Then we're going to turn our work back around. You can pull this a little bit tight. You can also take out your stitch marker at this point. And now we are gonna chain 1 and we're gonna place our first single crochet into this very first stitch, and we are again gonna mark the first stitch that we did, the first single crochet. And now we're going to place 1 single crochet into each stitch of the row again. And you are going to repeat this same pattern for as long as you need. So as long as you want your waistband to be, this is how many rows you're gonna make. And yeah, I'm gonna see you once you have finished the desired height of your waistband. Okay, so I am now at the end of my last row. I have 1 more single crochet left, and to end the row we are gonna join just like we did in all the previous rounds. So we're gonna place our yarn in the back behind our work. Then we are gonna go into this second stitch from the back. We are gonna turn our work around. Then we're gonna grab the loop, pull it right through. Then we're gonna turn our work back around. And at this point we can take out our stitch marker. And now, to finish it off, we are gonna chain 1, and then we can pull this loop a little bit, and then we will cut off our yarn, and then we can just pull this right through and tighten it off. And we are gonna weave in this piece of strand later. And as you can see, I did the invisible join, so you can't really see where the seam is, because we pushed the seam into the inside of our work. And also, if you realize that we're basically like the seam is moving to the side. That's totally normal. As you can see, it's doing the same in my work. So I have 9 single crochet rows in total, and the first one was the one with the single crochet decrease in every 9th stitch. I then did 2 rows with 1 single crochet into each stitch, and into the 4th row I decided to place another single crochet decrease into every 9th stitch. So again, this was a single crochet decrease row for me, and then I just placed the last 5 rows. I placed 1 single crochet into each stitch. And now, so you know how long this part is on my piece, my waistband is about 4 centimeters. So that makes my whole piece in total 19 centimeters in height. Okay, so it's now time to make our straps, and as you can see, I already did this side, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna place your stitch markers on the part of your top where you want your straps to be, and it's best to choose a shell to do that. So I basically gonna show you. So this is my seam in the back, and I placed my stitch markers into the second shell from the seam, and then I left out 2 shells, and then I placed the next stitch markers into this shell, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th shell from the back seam, and this is where the front is going to be of the strap. And I am also going to show you exactly how I placed the stitch marker in here. So as you can see, I placed the stitch marker into the second stitch from the beginning of the shell, and I'm going to place the other stitch marker into the second stitch from the end of the shell. So I'm going to count 1, 2, and this is the stitch that we're going to put it into. However, we're not going to put it into this very first stitch right here, because we want to have this nice detail, and we're going to put it into the back, into this slip stitch. As you can remember, we finished this top part with the slip stitch row, and the slip stitches are the ones in the back. So this is where you're going to place your stitch marker. So you're going to count 1, 2, and you're going to turn it, and you are going to put it into the slip stitch in the back, so that this stitch right here, this is not where we're going to put it, just so it's going to look very nice when we're finished, just like on this side, as you can see. And yeah, so you basically do this with all your stitch markers, and then I'm going to show you how to add your strap. Okay, so for the strap, on either side, so the right and the left is going to be the same thing. You are going to start on the front side of your top, and you're gonna go into this slip stitch right here. So you start from the right side, you go in here where your stitch marker is in, and you're gonna pull that yarn through, and you will add your yarn right here. You can just tie a knot. You will pull it tight. Now you can take out your stitch marker. And then you go into the same stitch, and you're gonna pull up a loop, and you're gonna chain 1, and now you're gonna place 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So you go into the same stitch and make 1 single crochet and another single crochet, and now we're gonna go into this second slip stitch. So gonna show you. We are gonna go in here. And we're gonna place 2 single crochets into this stitch. Go into the same stitch and place another single crochet. And now we are at the middle stitch of this whole shell, and we're gonna leave this stitch out. So we're gonna skip this slip stitch in the back, and we're gonna go into the next slip stitch. And again, we are gonna make 2 single crochets into this stitch. And now we're at the stitch with our stitch marker. You can take it out right now. And we will do the same thing. We will go into this stitch. And make 2 single crochets. And now you should have a total of 8 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're gonna chain 1 and we're gonna turn our work. And then we will place a single crochet into this very first stitch. So you skip the chain 1 that we just did, you go into the single crochet, you make 1 single crochet in here, you make another single crochet into the next stitch, and you just make 1 single crochet into each of the single crochets that we just did. So you should have for this row also 8 single crochets once we're at the end of the row. Okay, so this is the last stitch. I'm gonna go to the last stitch and make our last single crochet. And now you have again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochets. So what we basically did when we added the yarn, we did a single crochet increase into this stitch right here. This one we skipped the middle stitch of the shell, and then to these 2 we also placed a single crochet increase. And now what you're gonna do is basically just repeat this whole pattern. So you chain 1 and you're gonna turn your work and place a single crochet into each of the stitches until the end of the row. I'm gonna take you along with me one more time. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then you chain 1, turn your work, and you repeat the same thing. And you're going to repeat this until you have the desired length of your strap. And also just make sure you try this on every now and then and really pull this strap very tightly on you, so that you can make sure that it's going to really be fitted on you, and so the strap won't fall off because when it's too loose, it will probably fall off your shoulder. So just make sure when you try it on, you pull it tight. And yeah, so you continue this until you have your desired strap length. Okay, so I have now finished my strap and I have in total 44 rows. And I'm also counting this very first row where we attached the single crochets to this top part. So in total I have 44 rows. And also you want to make sure that you end your last single crochet row on the right side. So if you look at your top from the front and your strap from the front, you will end this row on the right side. So if you now are finished with your strap and you happen to end up on the left side, you can either take away a row or you can add a row so that you will end up on the right side. This is up to you, but make sure you end up on the right side. And now we're going to sew this to the back of our top where we have our stitch markers. And first you want to take this strap very straight and you will basically just turn it around like how you would wear it. And just so you know where this piece will go, you just put it on here where the stitch markers are. And as you can see, it's like this. And what we're now gonna do, we are gonna turn this around like this. So we're just gonna place it like this. And we are gonna connect the slip stitch row here where our stitch markers are in with this part, with these single crochets. So okay, so first we're gonna go into this slip stitch on the right side where our stitch marker is. And as you can see, we're not working into this like front wave. We are going into the back where the slip stitches are. And now you are gonna grab this loop from your strap and make sure that your yarn is not tangled up around your strap. Just pull it, put it on this side of your project, and you are now gonna pull this loop through, and we're gonna chain 1. And now you can take out your stitch marker and now what we're gonna do is we are gonna go into this very same slip stitch, and we will also go into this first single crochet right here from the row, from your strap. And we are gonna make a slip stitch, so we're just gonna grab the yarn and pull it right through. And now we are gonna go into the same slip stitch of your top, and we're gonna go into the second single crochet. So you go into this next single crochet from your strap, and again make a slip stitch, and also make sure you don't make them too tight. Then we are gonna go into the next slip stitch of our top. You're gonna go right in here, and you're gonna go into the next single crochet on your strap like this, and again make a slip stitch. And then you're gonna go into the same slip stitch on this side and go into the next single crochet on the other side. Again, make a slip stitch. And now we will skip this middle stitch of the shell. As you can see, we are going to skip this slip stitch right here, and we are going to go into the next slip stitch right here. So as you can see, we now skipped a slip stitch and we went into the next one. And now you are going to go into the next single crochet of your strap and make a slip stitch. Then again you will go into the same slip stitch, go into the next single crochet of your strap and make a slip stitch. And now you can take out the stitch marker and you will go into this slip stitch, the last one that we marked. Go into this next single crochet under your strap and make a slip stitch. Then again you go into the same slip stitch and grab the yarn. You go into this last single crochet of your strap and you will make another slip stitch. And what we just did is we slip stitched together the first 2 single crochets into this stitch, then the next 2 single crochets into the very next stitch right here. Then we skipped the middle stitch of the shell, just like we did on the front of the strap, and then we placed the next 2 single crochets into this stitch and the last 2 single crochets into the last stitch of the shell. And now we have added our strap to the back. So I am now on the inside part of my strap, as you can see. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna chain 1 and we will go into this very first row space right here. So you can see, go right in here and we will place a single crochet in here. And now we will go into this next row space right here and make a single crochet. We go into the next row space, make a single crochet, into the next row space and make a single crochet, and we will repeat this all the way down the strap until we made it to the front of the strap. So just place 1 single crochet into each row space. Okay, and one more very important thing. As you can see, I'm working on the right strap of my top when you look at it from the front. And when you're working on your left strap, you will be ending up, once you have sewn your piece together, you will also end up on the left side of the strap, which is the outside part of your top. So you will not do the single crochet row like we're doing it right now on this side, because this is the inside part. You're gonna start with the ruffles first, and I'm gonna show you how to do the ruffles in the next step. So you can just go ahead and skip this single crochet row for right now and just start with your ruffles first. And once you have finished the ruffles, you will then go back to this part that I'm showing right now and just make the single crochets as your last step for the strap. But for right now, if you are working on the right strap, you will just make these single crochets first and then we're gonna add the ruffles. Okay, so I made it to the front of my top and I will place the last 2 single crochets into these last 2 row stitches, and I will now make a slip stitch into this slip stitch in the back. So I will go in here into the slip stitch in the back and make a slip stitch, and then you can chain 1 and then you will cut your yarn, and I have already cut my yarn here, so you can just go ahead and pull your yarn to tighten. Okay, so for the ruffles, you will add your yarn into the front of your top and you will go into this slip stitch here in the back, and you will grab your yarn and pull it through, and you will attach it with a simple knot. And now you will go into the same stitch right here, pull up a loop, chain 1, and now you are going to place 1 single crochet into each row stitch, just like we did on the inside of our strap. So you will go into this row and make a single crochet. You go into the next row, make a single crochet, go into the next row, make a single crochet, and so on and so forth until you are at the end of your row. And also, when you are working on your left strap, you will already have your yarn attached on this side right here, because you just sewed together the strap to your top, and you will end up having the yarn attached on this side already. So once you made the last slip stitch, which you have used to sew your strap to the top, you will then chain 1, and you will then go into the first row stitch, just like I just showed you right here. You will go into the first row stitch and make a single crochet, and then basically do what I just showed you. Okay, I now made it to the end of my row, and I will place 1 more single crochet right here. And now we're gonna make our ruffles. So after this last single crochet that you did, you are gonna turn your work, and you will place a slip stitch into this very single crochet that we just did. So you're gonna place 1 slip stitch, and you can also take a stitch marker and mark this first slip stitch, and then you will make another slip stitch into the next single crochet, and then you make another slip stitch into the next stitch. So we now have 3 slip stitches in the first 3 stitches. And then you will make 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So this is basically a single crochet increase. And you will make another single crochet increase into the next stitch, and another single crochet increase into the next stitch. So now we have made 3 single crochet increases. And now into the next 3 stitches we will place a half double crochet increase each. So you will yarn over, go into this next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3. This is a half double crochet. And then you will make another one. So you yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And this is a half double crochet increase, and you will do the same thing for the next 2 stitches. So you will yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and yarn and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Make another half double crochet, then into the next stitch you will also make 2 half double crochets. And now for the next 3 stitches we will make a double crochet increase each. So you yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and pull through 2, and make another double crochet. You yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. This is your double crochet increase. You will make another double crochet increase into the next stitch, and another double crochet increase into the same, into this next stitch. And now into the next stitch we will make a triple crochet increase. So for that you will yarn over twice, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. And now you will yarn over twice, go into the same stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. Now you have your triple crochet increase. And you will make a triple crochet increase, 1 in each of the next stitches until you have 12 stitches left. So I'm going to show you again. You will yarn over twice, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2 again, yarn over twice, go into the same stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2 again. Okay, so I am now almost at my 12th stitch. As you can see, you can just place a stitch marker in your 12th stitch so that you know when to stop making triple crochet increases. And I have one more triple crochet increase left, which I will place into the stitch right here. So we have 1 triple crochets and 2 triple crochets. And now I'm at my 12th stitch, so I can take out my stitch marker. And into this stitch we will make a double crochet increase. So you will yarn over once and make a double crochet and make another double crochet into the same stitch. And you will make 2 more double crochet increases. So in the next stitch you will make a double crochet increase, and into the next stitch as well you place 2 double crochets for a double crochet increase. Okay, and now you will make into the next 3 stitches 1 half double crochet increase each. So you will go in the stitch and make a half double crochet, and in the same stitch you will make another half double crochet. And you repeat this for the next 2 stitches. And now into the next 3 stitches you will make 1 single crochet increase each. So you go into the stitch and make 2 single crochets, and into the next stitch you will make 2 single crochets, and into this next stitch as well. And now you have 1, 2, 3 stitches left, and in these you will place 1 slip stitch each. So we have 1 slip stitch, 2 slip stitches, and again make them a little bit more loose, and into the last stitch you will also place a slip stitch. And after this last slip stitch you will turn your work, and you will now make a slip stitch into these first 3 slip stitches. So you will go into this first slip stitch, and make a slip stitch, and then you will make a slip stitch into the next stitch and a slip stitch into the next stitch. And now what you're gonna do, you will place a single crochet on each single crochet. So for the next 6 stitches we will place 1 single crochet each. So you will go to the stitch, make a single crochet, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you will place 1 half double crochet on each of the half double crochets. So for the next 6 stitches, you are going to place 1 half double crochet each. So you make 1 half double crochet, another half double crochet into the next stitch. In the next stitch you will make a half double crochet, and we have 4, 5, and 6 half double crochets. And now for the next 6 stitches you will place 1 double crochet into each stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we have made it to the triple crochets, so you will place 1 triple crochet on each of the triple crochet stitches. So you will now make triple crochet and keep placing a triple crochet until you reach your double crochets. Okay, so I have now made it to my double crochets, and how you can tell that you are at the double crochets is that you have in total 21 stitches left. And what we're going to do now, for the next 6 stitches we will place 1 double crochet on each of the double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now for the next 6 stitches we will place 1 half double crochet on each of the half double crochets. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now for the next 6 stitches we will place 1 single crochet on each of the single crochets. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now for the last 3 stitches we will make a slip stitch into each slip stitch. So we make 1 slip stitch, another slip stitch, and the last stitch will also be a slip stitch. And now we are gonna turn our work. Okay, and now for the last row, we will basically repeat the same thing as in this previous row that we just did. So you will make 3 slip stitches, then you will make 6 single crochets, 6 half double crochets, 6 double crochets, and then as many triple crochets as you have. So on each triple crochet you will make a triple crochet, and once you have 21 stitches left, you will place 6 double crochets, 6 half double crochets, 6 single crochets, and then 3 slip stitches. And once you are finished with this row, that's when I'm gonna meet you back. So I am now at the end of my row. I have 1 more slip stitch left. And we'll place it in the last stitch. And after you made your slip stitch, you will turn your work. And for the last row, you will start with making 3 slip stitches. So you go into this very first stitch, make a slip stitch, to the next stitch you will make another slip stitch, and into the third stitch also a slip stitch. And now for the entire row you will place 1 single crochet into each of the stitches until you have 3 stitches left. Okay, I have now 3 stitches left, which are the 3 slip stitches, and we will make 1 slip stitch into each of the stitches. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And then you will chain 1, cut your yarn, and then pull the yarn to tighten it off. Okay, so now I'm almost done with my straps. I just want to show you on the left strap how to do the inside lining, because when you do the right strap you will automatically have your yarn attached in the back and then go to the front. However, on the left side, remember that you will have your yarn attached in the back on the outside of your strap, so you will first make the ruffles. And now I'm gonna show you real quick how to attach the yarn and make the inside lining on the left strap. So for that you will attach your yarn in the front of your work. So you will go into this slip stitch in the back and you will grab your yarn and then attach it with a knot. Then you will go into the same stitch again, pull up a loop, chain 1, and then into each of the row stitches you will make a single crochet. So you go into this row, make a single crochet, go into this next row, make a single crochet, and so on and so forth, just like we did when I showed you the inside lining on the other side. So if you are now making the inside lining on your left strap, you can just go ahead and go back to where I explained how to do this for the right strap, because it's basically the same thing, it's just on the other side. Okay, so now I have finished my straps and I just want to show you how you go about the whole strap and inside lining and ruffles for each of the sides. So when you make your left strap, you will start by making the strap on the right side and single crochet to the left and then you just make single crochets all the way around until you reach your desired length of your strap, and you will attach it to your top from the right to the left, which makes you be on the outside part of your strap. So that means that you will first make your ruffles, and then you will make your inside lining by attaching your yarn in the front of your shirt, and then just make your single crochets to the back. When you make your right strap, you will also start off by placing your yarn on the right side into your top and go to the left side, and then you single crochet all the way until you have your desired length of your strap, and you will also attach it from the right to the left, which makes you end up on the left side, which is the inside of your strap. So you will first make the single crochet inside lining, and for the ruffles you will start by attaching your yarn on the right, on the front side of your top, and then you make your ruffles. So I hope that this explanation was well for you to understand. If you don't understand anything, just please comment down below, and I hope I can help you out. Okay, so now we are gonna add the ruffles to our waistband, and I decided to open up the last row of single crochets that I did for my waistband. So now I have 8 rows of single crochets for my waistband, and what you will do is you will attach your yarn to the first stitch of the row. So you will see the seam in the back, and you can just attach it to the stitch that you have ended your row with, and then you will pull up a loop and chain 2, and then you will go into the same stitch and make a double crochet increase. So you will make 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and you will repeat this for every single stitch until the end of the row. And also make sure that you add a stitch marker to the very first stitch that you did, so the very first double crochet. And yeah, you just go ahead and place a double crochet increase into every single stitch of the row, and I'm gonna meet you back once you're at the end of your row. Okay, so I'm now at the end of my row. I have 2 more double crochet increases left, so I'm gonna place one double crochet increase, and into the last stitch again, make sure you grab both of these strands, and then we will make our last double crochet increase. And I am again gonna make the invisible join, so you are gonna put this yarn behind your work, and you will go into the second stitch from the back, turn your work, grab your yarn and pull it through, and then you will turn your work again, and now you will chain 2, and in the same stitch you will make a double crochet. And now you can also take out your stitch marker, and you can now place your stitch marker into this first stitch again. And now you will make 1 double crochet into each stitch of the row. So you will repeat this until you're at the end of the row, and that's when I'm gonna meet you back. So I made it back around and I have one more double crochet to make, so I'm gonna go into this last stitch and make sure that you go through both of these strands. And now to join the round, you're gonna place your yarn in the back, put your hook through the second stitch from the back, then turn your work, grab the loop and pull it right through. And then you turn your work again. Okay, and now for the next row, we will do the same thing. We will chain 2 and then place 1 double crochet into each stitch of the row. So you go into this very first stitch, make a double crochet, and you repeat this for every stitch for the entire row. And also make sure that you place your stitch marker into this very first double crochet that you made. And I'm gonna meet you once you finish your row. I'm now at the end of my row and I will place my last 2 double crochets. And I will now join in the round again. And for our last round, we will chain 1 and into the same stitch, into the first one, we will make a single crochet. And we will make a single crochet into each stitch for the entire row. And also, again, place your stitch marker into this very first stitch that you made. And yeah, just keep making your single crochets until you reach the end of your row. Okay, I made it to the end of my row and I will make my last 2 single crochets. And now I'm gonna join in the round. You can take out your stitch marker. And to finish off your round, you will chain 1. And then you can cut your yarn and pull this yarn to tighten. And now your top is finished. And all you have to do now is just weave in all of these ends and then you're gonna be done with your whole piece. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, please comment them down below. I'm gonna do my best to help you out. And also feel free to send me your creations on any social media platform. I'd really love to see how your pieces turned out. And yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna see you in the next video.